Hey, this is Drizik from Cluster Crunchers Incorporated. I am the CEO and one of the founding members. We are a high-sec primarily corporation stationed out of Amar territory. Currently, we are setting up for a POS to be installed out in wormhole space. So we've been doing a lot of testing and kind of running there and doing operations, and kind of learning what wormhole space operates like and how it feels to be out there. We are planning on setting up a POS while we're out there. So one of the things that we're looking at is how do you set up a POS? How do you maintain it? How much fuel is it going to need? What are some of the requirements? How easily are they destroyed? Is it something that a gank fleet of two or three can pop in and completely destroy our POS and take off with all of our stuff, or is it something that they're going to need a few more friends to do? So we've been doing a lot of that kind of research, and some of the other stuff that we've been looking at is what kind of ships do we want to take out? I've been a hauling captain for years and never really considered most of the other ships. Pretty much all my indie ships have always been Iterons. Like them, love them, have used them for years, and thoroughly believe that at least the upper level ones are some of the best that you can get in game. I don't know with the last set of changes if they've done too much, but I do know this little bestower here, if I outfit it properly, I can get right around 20k out of it, so not too bad for a vessel that you can hop into in about 30 minutes of actual training time, and then to get that 20 plus k out of it, you pretty much have to spend a couple of days training some things up. You need the ability to use Tech 2 cargo expanders, as you can see here, a load out of 4. Now since we are going to be going to wormhole space, this fit's going to end up a little bit different than probably most of the haulers that you will see running around. I'm going to have some buffer tank going on in here, a probe launcher with some sisters core scanning probes. I will have rigs in here for getting that medium cargo expander optimization out there. That'll help me get closer to that 20k, and then that will leave me one high slot mod, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to throw in there yet. I do want to make sure that this ship is, for the most part, flyable by any of our captains that are coming out, which is part of the reason why I decided to go this direction, because for the most part, all of our guys can fly these ships, whereas with the Iterons, there's a considerable amount more training, and if any of the guys can't fly some portion of this, maybe the Tech 2 cargo expanders or something else, they can just take them off and kind of throw them in the cargo hold, move it around, do what they need to while I'm offline, and then we can put things back when I get back. The idea being, while you're out in wormhole space, you don't want to have a lot of extra stuff. But you do kind of end up with a few extra things here and there, just because of the logistics of moving things around. So we're trying to eliminate some of that by taking some of the same vessels out there, so that if we do get an opportunity to ferry some stuff back to high sec, we can do that with minimal amount of impact to the group. So having ships that most of the corp can already fly does kind of help out with that. We are looking at probably a category 1 or a category 2, most likely really kind of pressing for that 2. Gives us a little bit more load supportability coming in and out, so we can make more trips in and out before we have to worry about the wormhole shutting on us. and at the same time it gives us a little bit better loot per day. Now, I've heard about wormholes drying up while you're out there in them, and from what I understand, that is a real possibility. So, one of the things that we're also looking at is are we going to be able to maximize what we are able to do while we're out there? So we want to make sure that we have a couple of indie ships out there that are able to harvest gas, harvest minerals, as well as just going out and doing straight up blow up the NPCs that pop out there. So it won't be all just combat, but at the same time, being in a wormhole and having that delayed local chat, we do expect to have to kind of defend ourselves, and so some of the stuff, we're not going to be just coming out and doing whatever we want when we want. We're going to be a lot more cautious. It's not a one-man show while you're out there, which is part of the reason why I'm not taking all of my characters and or assets out there, is because I can't multitask well enough between multiple accounts to be my own best friend as far as defense is concerned and everything else. Your attention does get split, especially when you have an indie tune and a PvP tune, or a combat tune. So these are just some of the thoughts, some of the things that are kind of going through right now. We have about 300 mil wrapped up in our POS and other parts and pieces that we have picked up to kind of make this whole thing happen. So we're pretty excited overall. I have a group of about 7 guys that are all going to go in. One thing about our corp that's much different from probably most corps, except for some corps that are very, very small, is that we are all friends in real life, with the exception of one person in the corp. We do all know each other and work together, and we see each other on a regular basis. So it's wonderful to be able to have corp mates that you can sit down at lunchtime and BS about what you're going to do that night, and what operations you're looking for and how they can help out, and who's training what and that kind of stuff. So this is it's been really exciting. We've done quite a few wormhole operations, just scanning them down in our local area and then heading out there, opening them up, taking a look around, and really just pulling the whole gambit of information in while we're out there. Is there a POS already out here? Is it online? How many other players do we suspect are out in this wormhole? How quiet is it? How eerily quiet is it? Wormhole space is much different than even just being out in local space or high-sec space. When you're kind of away from jump gates and stuff, it still doesn't really give you the same feel. When you're out in that wormhole space, you really do feel cut off. You really do feel away from everything else. So some of the things that we've really been discussing is the necessity for everyone to be able to scan, because you never know who's going to be able to get on first, or for that matter, you might go an entire night or two with only 1 or 2 other players hopping in out of the group that comes out. So having everybody able to at least use basic scanning probes, basic scanning skills to lock down the different sites for the night and be able to look at them all, and also kind of keep track of other players that may be in the system with you. That's really important. They have a tendency to not show up real well on anything but D-scan, and D-scan doesn't give you a lot of information. So just some thoughts that we're kind of milling back and forth, some conversations that we've had, is how many people are going to go out and how long are we going to stay? How much are we going to bring with us? How permanent are we trying to make this? Right now, being our first go around, we're really trying to just kind of make this temporary, but with the possibility of it being more long term. If we're making great money out there, we're able to pop back into high sec fairly often. We may start looking at hauling more modules out there, and maybe even bumping up our POS to a medium or a large if we can get enough production going out there that it's worth it to have a bigger POS. We may even do that. So there's no guarantees about what exactly is going to go on, but we are open to all possibilities, and just kind of looking forward to what the next little bit's gonna hold. This is my first YouTube video, so I thank you guys for bearing through with me. I'm sure that as things go on, the commentary will get a little bit better, a little smoother as I get more used to running it and to talking to you guys. Also, if you guys have any comments about anything that you've done or seen in your experiences in wormholes. If you have any comments about setting up POSs, I'd love to hear it. This will be our first POS for our corporation. So really excited to get this thing put up and kind of start interfacing with it. I've had a fair amount of experience with them in the past. Back in the days when you had to load all the different parts and pieces into it in different amounts, and it kind of made the fuel on site more or less. So it's kind of nice to be able to just go out and buy fuel blocks that somebody else has already put together for you and throw those in your POS, rather than having to make all the parts and pieces. At this time, we have probably about 2 months worth of fuel, maybe probably closer to 3.5 months worth of fuel for a small POS, probably about a month and a half worth of fuel for a medium. So since it is a small POS, we do have a fair amount of fuel already on site, and so once we kind of get things all situated out, we will go ahead and start ferrying all this stuff to the wormhole of choice. Hopefully that happens sometime, probably this weekend or very, very early next week. Our goal is to be in a wormhole and kind of setting everything up by Monday the 4th. But that can be pushed to the right if we don't find the right wormhole. If there's too much population interested in the same wormhole when it pops up, we're not looking to pick a fight with other players at this time. If it comes down to it, we will defend ourselves against gankers and other people trying to take over our wormhole. If we'd even be willing to live rather symbiotically with another group if they wanted to come in and do something like that. However, it's got to be a mutual thing, and it's got to work out. Most people tend to just kind of want to take over, so I understand that that's always a possibility as well, and the fact that you have that delayed chat makes it just that much harder to know whether or not somebody actually has good intentions, bad intentions, all of the above. So alright guys, I'm going to sign off at this time. Thank you very much for sitting through my first video, and I look forward to kind of talking at you guys some more and getting some feedback. This is Drizik signing off.